This is one of them permagrin type of places where you just can't stop smiling. Alright, good morning guys. My name is Frank, this is Alyssa, and we are the Globe Hoppers. If you've been following our channel, you know we are currently on a mission to get to 100 countries, and this is number 34, Athens, Greece. If you saw yesterday's video, you will know that we have not fallen in love with the city of Athens. Greece, yes, we've had a great time traveling around Greece, but when we got to Athens 4 days ago, oh, we just have not enjoyed the vibe yet. But today's a new day, we're going to give it a new try, and we also decided to do something we haven't done in a lot of years, which is check out this hop-on, hop-off bus situation. We figure that's probably the best way to get back on the tourist trail and maybe see some happier sights than what we've seen over the last few days. So today we are waiting for the bus. We're right now at a church which is right outside our hotel, a couple of blocks away, and the hop-on, hop-off bus is supposed to be coming to get us in a few minutes. We bought the 2-day pass with 2 different rails, so we're going to do the city today, and then we're going to head down to the marina area tomorrow. And I think next is probably the Acropolis, but we haven't gotten a map yet. The bus driver will give us to when we get on. Alright, so while we wait for the bus, we'll give you a little rundown. There are 5 different packages you could buy. You could buy your tickets online or at one of the bus stations. So we got a digital voucher, I guess it is. We did it online. And we paid for the second tier up, which is a 2-day, 2-line package. So today we're going to do the city area. And then we have another day tomorrow where we can take the other line and go down and do the marina area. So today is going to be all history. A lot of archaeological sites, the Acropolis, things like that. And it was, for us, for the 2 days, it was $25. The most expensive Supreme package is $30, and the cheapest one was $20. So whatever your budget, whatever you feel like doing, depending on how much of this heat you can handle too, it's gonna get pretty hot. And I think that's why we went for the 2-day package, so we could break it up over both days. When we get too hot, we'll run back to the hotel. So the bus should be coming soon.
The bus, it runs from 8:30 to 7, right?
Yeah, I think it runs till 7 tonight, so
Yeah.
we'll be home long before that, I hope, in the swimming pool. Let's see where it is. Alright guys, we have arrived at our first stop, but it's actually the 3rd stop. This stop here is Hadrian's Gate, and it's actually rebuilt. The original one was destroyed in an earthquake, and then they built this one. And it is our 3rd stop, like I said, because the first 2 stops were at town squares, and the first one was just filled with pigeons and nothing else. Literally no people, no nothing, so we didn't get off there. The second one was just a shopping district, so we decided we didn't need to really go shopping, so we didn't get off at that one. And this was the 3rd stop that the bus was at, the Hadrian Square. And then you can see on the other side behind us here, we've got some more pillars and ruins, and we're gonna see if we can get in there and take a little stroll around and see those. But a little heads up, it is so hot today. We are just melting away, and it's just barely noon now, so we don't know.
We know, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine once we get used to the heat, yeah.
I think it's 94, 91.
So right now we're just hiding in the shade. There goes one of the buses. Bye-bye. And you can see the Acropolis up there in the background. So I'm trying to decide if the bus deal is actually worth it or not. The bus drives you around with an audio tour, and they'll tell you things like, we're passing a church, we're passing a parliament. But you have to get off the bus and then go walk back to those places if you actually want to see them. So you're going to spend just as much time walking as you are if you don't take the bus. The only difference is the bus gets stuck in all this Athens traffic. So I'm not really sure yet if you're winning out or losing. I think the better idea might have been to rent a scooter for the day and then just get a nice cool breeze on a scooter while you drove around and checked out the sites that you find interesting. Because a lot of them, like the Parliament building, I really don't want to go see where today's government's being held. So something to think about. If you're a scooter driver, that might be better for you. Avoid some of the traffic and sitting in buses and going to see things that you're really not interested in. But we'll let you know at the end of the day overall what we decide. Right now we are at, let's see what this one is. Alright guys, behind us is the archaeological site of Olympian, and most of it's under reconstruction, as you can see. from all those towers back there. A few of the columns are actually on their side laid down, like the earthquake hit and knocked them down. But if you want to, you can go in there and walk around and blaze in the heat for a while. Good luck with that. We are going to go save our energy for the bigger, more exciting ones up there on the hill. So I think we're going to look for the next bus going by and hop on, hop off. Alright guys, so we just got in and we paid the $30 each instead of the 20 because for 30 each we get a package deal, which is good for 5 days, and it's good for entrance to many of the sites around Athens, like the big arena we wanted to go to, and the Pantheon and Acropolis and the museums. So we just went ahead and bought the package and we are at the Acropolis. Look up there. One good thing you could tell is tourism's definitely picking back up around the world. We haven't seen crowds like this in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So far on the way up here, everything we've seen has been fenced off and looks like it was under construction, and then the construction stopped when the economic climate here changed, I guess you could say. I don't know if any of it's still being worked on, but I haven't seen anything being worked on. It just seems like it's all fenced off now.
This looks like they're setting up for a symphony or something.
Yeah, this is the closest one that we found. It looks like it's actually being used for something.
They got one on here about it.
There's no labels anywhere really. Nothing's labeled. A few plaques, but they're very vague. They don't really explain much. So aside of all the construction, it is absolutely amazing that this stuff is still intact up here. I mean, when you see how high up we are and how many earthquakes they've had, quite impressive. We just came down from the Acropolis, and at the base there's the Roman Agora, which is where we are now, built in 11 BC. Not much left of it, but there are some rumbles and ruins we can go check out for you. The sun is going behind some clouds, so it's getting much more tolerable. I think we were starting to melt up there. She has a bottle of water, and she went to pour a little on my head and burn me, so it's ridiculous out here. What did you say it was, in the 90s?
Oh, it was 91 when we started. It's 92 now, but it's cloudy. It says on my watch.
Yeah,
It is.
it says it's 90 something degrees out here, 92, 93, but the sun is just blazing. This is by far the hottest day we've had on this trip in the last month or so. It's just deadly today. So this Roman Agora at the bottom of the Acropolis complex here is a lot of ruins and rumble, but this here behind me is the Tower of Wind, and that seems to be in the best condition of everything on these grounds here. Ready to go find our bus? Alright, so I think we're done with the Acropolis complex. We're gonna head down to the street and cool off for a minute. I don't know, we've been to a lot of these ruins over the last couple of years between Egypt and Turkey and here, and I wouldn't rank these amongst the top 3, and I just named 3, so they're in pretty, down here is not really much. Up there at the Acropolis is pretty impressive that it's still standing, and the view is really good up there, but as far as like the layout, there's no plaques, there's no explanation. So I mean, I think Luxor and Abu Simbel win, even Cairo in that aspect. But it is really nice to get up there. It's a must do. You can't come to Greece and not go to the Acropolis. Get the day pass and you can go see some other things as well. And that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna try to cool off and see what's next on this hop on, hop off bus tour. Oh, you smell all that leather?
Olha, aqui tem pelos.
Alright, we're trying to find Hadrian's Library, but first we gotta pass through one of Athens' flea markets here, which should be fun.
Hard Rock Cafe is also over here on the corner.
Oh boy, we might just be getting lunch. Some of the fruit smells good. Okay, so we made it to stop number 4. 5, who knows at this point, I'm probably delirious from the heat. But this is Hadrian's Library, and it's from 132 AD. Just a bunch of ruins, of course, but it wasn't actually a library back in the day like we know with books and all. This was a meeting place where all the masterminds came to philosophize and poetize. So we're gonna walk around here for a minute, see what it's like, and then I think we're gonna have to go to Hard Rock and hit some air conditioning and get some snacks. You know us, we likes to eat. So we stopped at a Hard Rock real quick to get some appetizers, and we realized that the last time we were at a Hard Rock was when we were on a hop on, hop off bus tour in Rome 5 years ago. So I guess they got a little continuity going here. Here comes the music, copyright strike. We stopped off at Hard Rock. We had some appetizers and some iced teas and some water, and now we're refueled and ready to go. And that's funny, we didn't realize that last time we were in a Hard Rock was 5 years ago. Last time we were on a hop on, hop off bus tour, so that was interesting. And now we're off to where? The museum now, I think? We're gonna
Check out, yeah, the museum.
try to find the museum, the Acropolis Museum now.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Cheers.
Take care now. Alright guys, so we just got off the bus there. Probably our last bus ride for the day. We'll tell you more about that in a little quieter area, but right now we're going to see the one main attraction I've been waiting for this whole time. This means more to me than even the Acropolis did, so let's boogie across this highway here.
English, French.
English. Gracias. I got the gold.
Nice. Can you zoom in on it? This will not be suitable for
You will
anybody.
not be holding it either because you'll put it in with the euros. There it is. The Olympics, everybody. I love it. Upstairs is a museum. I guess that's where the gladiators and all used to do their thing. And then as you come down this here ramp in this tunnel, you enter the stadium, and I can't wait. I cannot believe I am out here walking around on this. This is amazing. If it wasn't so damn hot right now, I would do a lap just to say I did it here, but I'd probably die, it's so hot. Otherwise, this is just like an Olympic fan's playground from heaven. This is incredible. I've been running around taking pictures on the podiums. So let me try to give you a little history here. This was built back in the Hadrian era when he was the ruler, and it is the largest marble stadium in the world. This whole thing is all built of marble. It's incredible. The first modern Olympics were held here. This is where they played the hymn for the first time, and yeah, you can see people over here posing. Everybody's posing on the stands over there. This is just amazing. I love this here.
They also have they hold the Guinness World Record for a basketball game, the most
Yeah.
fans in a basketball game, and it was in 1969.
It is still used for events these days, rarely, but sometimes. It holds 68,000 people, which, I mean, if you know anything about stadiums, that's bigger than just about anything in the U.S. I think maybe Dallas has one close to that, but, you know, this is like 3 Yankee stadiums here. You couldn't tell by looking at it, but yeah, it is. It's amazing. This is incredible. I love this. Out of everything in Athens that I've seen so far, you can keep the Acropolis, you can keep the Pantheon, and all that stuff. All the Olympic stuff that I've seen is just, I'm in heaven. I love this. So we opted not to get back on the bus. We're gonna walk the 1.5 miles back to the hotel now from the stadium. Only because, you know, if everything on this tour, on the Red Line tour, was very close in the city. You could walk from one to the other. Basically, if you have any strength at all whatsoever, you could do it on your own. It wasn't far. I wouldn't attempt it in this kind of heat, but sad part was the bus was actually hotter than being out here. There's no air movement on the bus, there's no AC really. It was very hot, stuffy. So for us, it paid just to walk. Tomorrow though, we're getting on the Blue Line, which goes outside the city center, down to the marina and the beaches. So for that one, when you travel in that kind of distance, I guess we'll get our money's worth. But today, several times we found ourselves like leaving the Acropolis. We didn't take a bus to the Agora, it was right there, we just walked. So I think we skipped like 5 of the stops just walking from one place to the other just to see everything. Like I said, if you're on the bus, as you're passing by, you got the audio tour and they explain it to you. But if you're on foot, you can walk by and read it and learn about it. So I guess it depends on your fitness level. But everything in the city, I don't think it was worth the hop on, hop off tour.
Actually, this is where we started, right here.
Yep. So yeah, we took the bus from here to the stadium, and the long way around in traffic took about a half hour. We just walked back in 10 minutes. So I mean, and there's a little bit of a breeze now, whereas on the bus we were dying, it was so hot. So I guess my advice is, if you're just gonna do the city center line, you don't need to pay the money for the hop on, hop off. It's not worth it. But if you're gonna leave the town, well, we're taking that line tomorrow, and we paid for it already, so we have to. But we'll let you know tomorrow how that one works out. As far as today goes, we're gonna wrap this video up here, go find another cold drink, and then head back to the room and relax for the rest of the night. It's been a long day out here in the sun.
Yeah.
I'm probably burnt. Do I look like a burnt match yet?
Not yet.
Oh, it's gonna come soon.
Tomorrow, we'll be on the beach.
Good morning, guys. It is day 2 of our hop on, hop off bus tour. We just hopped off the bus and we are now looking for the Green Line bus, which is supposed to take us down to the beach and marina area. Yesterday, if you remember, we did the whole Athens area with all the historical sites and that, and we had enough. So today we're heading down to the marina and the beach, if we can find the Green Line. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go walk through this market and see if we can find it.
So we got off, I think, like a couple stops before, and we're gonna wander all the way through the flea market because it takes you back to the terminal, the bus terminal, and you have to sit there for 10 minutes and wait for the bus driver to, I don't know, let the bus cool down or something. So
Have his little cigarette break. You know, we're in Europe, they gotta have cigarette breaks every couple minutes. Not to mention the bus just moves a lot slower in traffic than we do on foot.
it's hot up there.
Yeah,
So,
it's
walking
the-
down this little alleyway with the flea markets, it's cooler actually. You get all the hits from the AC from them.
The bus is 2-story and the downstairs area is closed in and there's no real air ventilation or nothing, so it gets hot. And if you go upstairs, there's a breeze, but you're in the blazing sun. So either way, it's not comfortable.
Plus, we're gonna be sitting on the beach, so we'll get our steps in now.
Alright guys, check it out. We got off our bus and our Athens luck is continuing. No sooner did we hit the beach than the clouds have rolled in. It has just been the way things have been going for us here in Athens. So, that's not going to stop us though. We're going to head on down to the water and see what the beach is like. And I don't know, I don't even know if I can, every time I bring the drone, this happens. So maybe we'll fly the drone. If not, you know us, we're gonna get something to eat. When all else fails, eat. We found cats. She wants to go check out the cats. Yeah, they're looking pretty shady.
The ones in Turkey were a lot friendlier and not as skittish.
Yeah, they're really afraid. They all took off basically.
Yeah.
There's a bunch more over here, over here, over here. If you guys could smell what we're smelling.
The litter box. Wet cat litter box.
Yeah. So much potential though. So the Green Line bus that took us down here was much nicer than the Red Line buses we were doing in town yesterday. It was air conditioned, the upper level had a roof on it. It was much more comfortable and nowhere near as crowded, obviously. Apparently not as many people come down here. Some do if they're catching a cruise. You can take that bus and it'll take you down to where the cruise ships leave. And other than that, there was just one stop was at Athens' most expensive hotel, and the next stop was the marina where the cruise ships were. The third stop was this wonderful beach we're at now, and the next stop was a museum. Yeah, a small museum. That was the last stop on the line. There is another line that goes further down the coast. Maybe we should have just picked that one instead, but it is what it is, and here we are.
Oh, this looks a little more doable, huh?
A little bit. All right, guys, you can see behind me the clouds are rolling in. We walked about a half hour down the beach, and conditions didn't really get any better. So we came up here by the marina. We were gonna fly the drone over these cruise ships and all, but we got it up and it was attacked by seagulls, which is quite ridiculous. So we decided we're just not gonna push our luck anymore. We're gonna grab something to eat, head back, check out our new hotel room, and get some work done. All right, so we are now waiting for our bus to take us back to City Center. We figured we'd give you guys a little review time. As far as the hop on, hop off bus goes, we did it in Rome and we loved it because everything in Rome was a little more spread out. It was the peak tourist season, so it was real crowded and hot, and it made it easier for us to get around there and see all the sights. And there seemed to be more sights just spread out throughout the whole city there. Here, however, in Athens, everything's centrally located around the Acropolis. If you can walk a mile, then you can pretty much cover everything. And as you guys know, we're walkers, so for us, we probably would have did much better on our own. The buses were hot, they were stuffy, they were stuck in traffic all the time, so I think that we were better off if we'd have walked instead of taking the tour. Just for us. I mean, if you're not in good shape and you can't do any walking, then maybe the buses would be good for you. As far as this line taken down to the beach, this was a complete tourist trap. I mean, I don't even know why anybody would consider this unless you needed a ride down to the, you know, your cruise ship or something. Yeah. Other than that, these beaches were not spectacular. The first night or two we were here, we stayed about a mile or two up the coast here, and those beaches were nicer than here. So why they're sending you down here on a tour bus is just beyond us. We can't figure that one out.
But they have that other line that you can take
Yeah.
that takes you down to the coastline there.
Yeah, there is that other line. We might have should have taken that one, but you know, that's another. It was an extra charge on top of this one. So anyway, as far as the hop on, hop off bus goes, we don't recommend it here in Athens. Just gonna tell it like it is. Just not worth it to us anyway.
Yeah, not for us.
But if you're interested, give them a try. Tell them we sent you. It won't mean shit, but you can get a good laugh out of it. All right, that wrap up the hop off bus.
Yeah, I think that concludes our hop on, hop off tour.
All right. Am I recording? All right, so when we walk up to the bus stop, we figured we'd give you our review of Athens before we shut off the camera for now. We've been here for a week. We've tried 4 different neighborhoods actually, and I gotta tell you, for both our point of views, Athens is getting a big. We've been to a lot of cities, and we know not every city is gonna be paradise. We know that's not realistic, but Athens is just, I don't know. It's just in its own class here. It's dirty. There's graffiti. There's heroin addicts everywhere. Homeless people everywhere. It's just terrible. Yeah. We see people shooting up every few feet. The cops don't care. They do it in front of churches. They do it in front of children, and you know, they pass out right there. It's horrible. It's just, if you stay in the real close to the tourist trail, right around the Acropolis in the center there of Athens, you'll be okay. Once you step 1 block away from the tourist trail, it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
The beaches are mediocre at best. I mean, we've come down the Baltic
The one that we
coast there, and every country we've been to has better beaches than this, from Montenegro, Croatia, Albania. I don't see the hype over Athens at all. I mean, don't get us wrong now. We love Greece, all, you know, Mount Olympus, Delphi, Meteora, and hopefully the islands. We've had a great time, met some great people, but Athens itself has just been one big bust, and we gave it 7 nights. I mean, that's plenty of time to get a feel for it. All different neighborhoods, so I don't know what to say.
I would like to add that the first place that we stayed at, that area, it was actually a really nice area, but the rooms in that area were $200 to $400 a night.
And booked up. Couldn't
Yeah.
even get them if we wanted.
It was the Glafida district, I think, by Uvula Beach or something like that, which is just further down the coast here. This beach isn't as nice as that one was.
So overall, I don't know. Athens is not going to win our love. Not going to win our hearts. We've tried. Yeah, we really gave it a try to like this place, but I don't think this will be on our comeback list, that's for sure. Not when there's so many other beautiful cities nearby. However, our next stop from here, we're gonna take the next night or two off and just shut the camera off and go get some work done before we leave. Because in 2 days we are heading down to Mykonos, so hopefully we'll get a better feel once we get down there like we had up north. We love Meteora and all those places, so hopefully Mykonos and Santorini will win our hearts back. Redeem Greece.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go to the room and just shut off for a couple days and let all this just be a distant memory in the background so I can start fresh in Mykonos.
No doubt.
I'm ready.
So, hope you guys liked this, even though it wasn't the most positive video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys someplace else.
Sorry.
What a beautiful morning, YouTube. In case you're new to the channel, my name is Frank, this is Alyssa, and we are the Globe Hoppers. We are currently on a mission to get to 100 countries and join that 100 country club. And this morning we are in country number 35, the Czech Republic, in what is slowly becoming, well actually what is quickly becoming one of our favorite cities, Prague. And today we're gonna hop on a tram, take you guys into the city center, and show you all the stuff Prague has to offer, or at least as much as we could do in one day. You ready for an adventure?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go check out this beautiful city. So the tram is just a 5-minute walk from our hotel, and we bought the 30-minute pass, which was $1.27. They have 30, 90, and 24-hour passes, so we figure we just do the one-way for now and see where we end up. And it should be right up here in the corner, hopefully. So the trams seem to run every few minutes, so we're just waiting on the next one to come by. And we arrived last night. It was about 6 o'clock when we got here. So we took a walk around town. We ended up having a delicious dinner. Found a little shisha lounge where we hung out for the rest of the night. And I tell you, since we got here, we've just been loving this place. It's green. Every place we've seen has been clean, and everybody's been so friendly to us. It's just a really beautiful city. And actually, we're not even staying in the city center itself. We're staying a little about 3 kilometers outside the city center. We got a great deal on a really nice hotel, so we'll show you guys that tonight when we get home, maybe. And yeah, so far so good. Thumbs up for Prague. We're loving it. Magic or messenger? I don't know what that was about. You can choose.
There's so many kids.
Going faster. Such a peaceful, friendly city. I'm loving it. Alright guys, this is our first stop. It's the Powder Tower. You can see it behind me here. And it was built in 1475. It is one of the 13 original gates to the city. It was never used for defense. It was really just used for in and out, getting in and out of the city. And now it separates the old city from the new city. And in 1470, no, that's what it built, 1475. In the 17th century, they started using it to store gunpowder, and that's how it got its name, the Powder Tower. It's built in a Gothic style, and it looks pretty freaking awesome, actually.
It looks gorgeous, yeah. All these buildings are awesome.
Right, so we made a little pit stop behind us here. That was a happy surprise. And now we're gonna head off to the square, the Old Town City Square, right?
Yep.
All right, let's see if we can find it. We've definitely left the regular city and have entered the old city area now. You can just tell by the architecture here. Bless you. This is the Old Town Square, and it is known for obviously all the little cafes and restaurants where you can stop and eat, and there's these statues all around, and there are some street performers. I think it's a little early, they might not be here yet, but they're known for the street performers here. And we are looking for the astronomical clock, so as soon as we find that, we'll show you that next. That was our stop here, and we just missed it. It's 12:06, so we'll be back at 1 to see it do its thing, but we'll find it. It was built on the side of the town hall in 1410, and it's the third oldest astronomical clock in the world, and it still works. So every hour on the hour, people gather, as you can see, and watch it go off, which we're about to see in 2 minutes. We've been waiting in the sun for about 20 minutes just so we could catch this. You see the little people up top coming out, way up there, they're coming out. The skeleton's ringing the bell over here. You see the skeleton ringing the bell? Oh yeah, all the little pieces move. Yeah, the rooster up top. And that was it, our first astronomical clock. Pretty cool. Bunch of the pieces moved. The skeleton was pulling the cord, ringing the bell, and the rooster came out up top and crowed. Pretty impressive that it's been working for all these 600 and something years. Not bad. I can't even get my Verizon phone to work for 6 months. So we arrived here with euros when we came from Greece, and they do accept euros here, but it seems like you get a lot of like street conversion where the guy's just like, yeah, all right, this much in euros then. So we're gonna try to make a stop at ATM and grab a few of their Czech crowns, and then we'll try to find something to eat. There's a bunch of good snacks back there, but again, the last place we went wouldn't even take euros, so we're just gonna do a little swapperoo. All right, guys, so we're just having lunch here in the Jewish Quarter. We checked out the town hall with the famed clock on top, and we saw the museum. And now we're gonna walk past the cemetery and stroll through a few of the synagogues real quick. Probably won't film much in there out of respect. And then from there, we're headed over to our next stop, which is the famed bridge, which we'll tell you all about when we get there. Okay, so between the Old Town Square and the river, there's what they call a Jewish ghetto. And back over 100 years ago, when the Jews were all being moved out of their homes, this area was designated to them. And then later on, Jews from all over Europe came here as a place where they could be safe and have their own little area. So we're walking through now. There's 6 synagogues still. There's a cemetery, there's a museum, and it's pretty quiet down this way. Very beautiful. You can see the architecture still intact. Look at this one. So the area designated as Yosefov, I know I'm saying that wrong, but there's also a really big cemetery here. So we're just gonna wander around a little bit and try to get a feel for it. Pay homage to my childhood friends. I guess we've been walking around now for about 2 or 3 hours, and Prague is just one of those cities you can walk around all day. It's so peaceful. There's no horns blazing. There's no real crowds. I mean, there's a good mix of locals and tourists, and there are a bunch of tourists, but you know, it's not bad, not overcrowded. It's spread out, and we are headed now to the riverfront. Everything here is just amazing architecture. Everywhere you look, there's statues and buildings and Gothic churches like this one up here. Nice. So our next stop is over there at the Charles's Bridge. It was started in 1357 and it was finished in 1402. And back then it was the only way you could get from that castle, the Prague Castle, back over here across the river into the old city. So it's very famous. It's got some statues along it. It's very iconic, and that's where we're headed next. So we're gonna take these over there and we'll walk across it on that side. More picturesque. These boats along the river that you could eat on, and some of them you could sleep in and stuff, reminds me of Amsterdam. There she is, guys, the famed Charles's Bridge. So we're gonna go around here and begin at the beginning and take you guys right across over the whole thing. All right, here we go, walking through the bridge. All right, guys, now we're at the Lennon Wall, which has been famous since the 80s when obviously John Lennon was shot, and they all came down here, they protested, and then there was a bunch of like John Lennon inspired graffiti and lyrics and all kinds of quotes and things put up here. And over the years, it's been, covered over by the government, and then now they're, you can still come down, there's still graffiti here, there's still a lot of John Lennon stuff, but there's also now some political protest. I guess the younger generation uses this for their political protest statements and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of letters posted along strings along here hanging. So we're gonna go read a few of them. It's pretty cool and it's pretty popular. Lots of people here right now, so I'll see if I can't get through there with the camera and show you a little bit of it. Right now, a lot of the messages you see up here are pro-Ukraine and screw Putin, stuff like that. Very political. So all these papers hanging across the front here is just all "We stand with you, Ukraine" stuff. I guess they're saving the wall, letting everybody just hang their wishes here. Pretty interesting and pretty cool. I think I lost Alyssa. Let's see if I can't find her. There she is, looking for me. Alright, so I knew it was going to be political, but I didn't realize it was going to be all about Ukraine, but I guess that makes sense right now. John Lennon's kind of a little bit overshadowed right now with all that, but it's still his place. It's still got his memory and his name on the wall, which is really cool.
Some was about Ukraine, but it was also about the disease, COVID, and things like that. There was some poetry up there of that.
Yeah, lots of poetry for that too. Alright, so now we're going to uplift our mood a little bit and head over to
Verbita Garden.
Alright. Crazy rat with wings. I recognize that flag. Alright, so we made it to the gardens, but they may have been closed for some reason. They may not. We can't really tell. The lady didn't speak English too well at all. So that's okay. We're going to head on now to the next stop, and that is a surprise. We'll tell you when we get there, in case we don't find that one this time either. Alright, so this is our next stop. We are at the Church of the Lady of Victories. It's one of Prague's most famous churches because inside there is a statue of the infant Jesus from the 16th century. It's a wooden statue coated in wax, and apparently there's not too many statues like this of Jesus when he was an infant. So we're going to go on in here quietly and take a peek at it. Come on. So we just got permission from a very funny father. He said it's okay because I'm from New York that I record here. Nice. Alright, so as you can imagine, it was really quiet in there, so I didn't want to say much in there. But when we got in, I asked one of the fathers, I'll show you in the picture, I'll let her put the picture in here below, but I saw that father in there and I asked him, is it okay if I record? He asked where I was from, then he started giving me a hard time because I was from New York. He said she could because she was from Pennsylvania, but not me because I was from New York. And he was just having a time cutting up with us, and I was trying to be serious with him just to see if I could film, but he just kept making jokes. Then he started telling us a story about how he got lost in the United States on a train, which I really didn't understand. But he was happy to have us record, as long as we weren't from Germany, he said. Or France. He just, I don't know what was up with him. He's got some things against some certain people, I guess. But he let us film, so we walked around, we did a lap, and we filmed it. It was very beautiful, amazing. But I didn't really feel comfortable talking in there, so we'll just do some editing so you can see what we saw in there. Now I think we're gonna figure out what our next move is, and we'll catch up with you once we're away from the church here. Look at that car. They ain't paying me no mind. Alright guys, so we have made it to our last stop for the day, and amongst all this beautiful Gothic architecture and Renaissance architecture and everything else that we've been seeing today, the whole city's basically like that until you get to this one corner where they have this modern building that we'll show you here. And it was basically designed as a tribute to Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. They call it the Dancing House. I call it the Wonky House because it's just a little wonky. It's not as spectacular as I was expecting, but I guess when you're surrounded by all this other architecture, to see something like this pop up, it does kind of like, what is this doing here? So we made it to this. We're gonna let you take a peek at it, and then we're gonna head back, and I'll tell you a little bit about Prague on our way back. But this corner is too busy and noisy to vlog on, so let's just give you a peek. I actually think that is more beautiful, personally. Can you imagine a puzzle of that? With all the similar shades and windows and colors and all that? That'd be like a 1,000-piece puzzle from hell.
Yeah, that's great. And that's how you get better at skiing. It's like tennis. You gotta play consecutive days and you build on
Alright guys, so We just made a quick pit stop we weren't expecting. Actually, 2 of them. We're gonna drop them in here for you guys to take a peek. But there was so much music playing in there, we'd get copyright strikes. So we're gonna have to put some music over it. Maybe a second or 2 of us talking in there. Time for a little pit stop. We saw something interesting and we just, we gotta show it to you. So here we go.
First, the body part of the chip. Taste, experience, confusion. Enjoy tasty treat.
Shake it, baby. And just like that, the Jetson style, we got ourselves a sex on the beach. Let's try it. All right, all right. Tastes pretty good. A little bit weak, but I mean, I expected that from a tourist trap, but not bad considering we just walked in, sat down, the machine made it, and now we walk out. Alright, that was just a little pit stop for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're gonna go and see if we can find one more little treat for you. Alright, one more stop before we get home. Then we'll get serious about heading home. She's never been to one of these, and I've never been to one of these, so we're gonna check this out next. Good. Alright, you got me.
Got our ponchos, got our gloves.
That's cold.
It's pretty cold down here, yeah.
My feet are sticking to the floor like ice. Everything in here is ice. The walls, the tables, the counter, the chairs up there, it's all ice. I'm wearing shorts and my skinny little ass is freezing.
Okay, and for you?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Slippery.
Alright.
Ready?
Cheers.
Strong. A lot of liquor.
That's some pretty cold stuff. This is a one drink and get the hell out kind of bar because I'm freezing my nuts off right now. A robot bar, the Czech Republic's first robot bar, which was pretty cool. I've never been to one of those where you just walk in and order and a robot does your drink for you. And then the second was an ice bar, which was right next door, and we figured, well, what the hell, since we already had a drink, we might as well have another. So we went to the ice bar and froze our asses off in there.
It was very
But-
cold.
That was definitely pretty cool though. We had a good time in there. And now we're heading back, but we wanted to tell you about it out here because like I said, it's gonna be just a little too noisy in there to let the music play. Woo!
So they had pretty much all of the liquor bottles up on the top, on the ceiling there, and the robot kind of just went up and filled up and then brought it down and shook it up and everything. And then just sat it down, and there was a human. He brought it over to you, but that was it. I mean, that was the only interaction you had with him.
And that's basically just to make sure you were who you said you were,
Yeah.
because otherwise anybody could order it, I guess, you
Yeah.
know.
And then the second one, it was just all ice. Everything was ice.
The chairs
The
were
seats,
ice, the
yeah.
walls were ice, the
The
counter
bar.
was ice, the glasses were ice.
It was awesome. That was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They were kind enough to give us gloves and ponchos though, so that kind of helped a little bit. It didn't really help that we were wearing
Shorts and a skirt.
yeah. But what an experience.
All right, now that was our last stop probably. No promises though. All right guys, so we spent the last 7 hours or so walking around Prague, and I gotta tell you, I haven't enjoyed a city as much as this one in a really long time. This has been such a fun city. The vibe here is really laid back. It's a family atmosphere. We haven't seen any homeless people. We haven't seen anybody shooting up heroin like in Athens, and I haven't seen anything that would make you nervous about being here or scary or anything. It's just been really, really good time here. Now, there's a ton of stuff to do in this city. I mean, you could spend forever, especially if you're into architecture. You could spend forever just enjoying the architecture here. And for us though, everything we did today was free, with the exception of the drinks at the bar, obviously, and the Jewish Cemetery Museum. That wasn't free either, but everything else that you've seen in this video today was absolutely free. Like I said though, there's a ton more stuff you could do. We could go to the castle, which we're gonna do another day probably, and that's not free. And there's a few other things that aren't free, but most of the stuff is really affordable here. It's an affordable, friendly city. I can't say enough about it. I love Prague. And I haven't seen many stray dogs, so you didn't get a dog of the day here, unfortunately. But no stray cats either, so that's what can you do? We'll find them when we get to Asia, I'm sure. So those are my thoughts on Prague. I really liked it here, and we're not done here. We've enjoyed it here so much that I think we're gonna stay an extra night or two. We're gonna head back now though and grab some dinner, and I think I'll add the room tour on to the next video since we're gonna wrap this up soon. So listen, if you guys enjoyed walking around Prague with us today doing free things, hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'm sure we'll see you again from Prague before we leave, because there's just so much more to show you.